and today I'm going to talk about truths that the internet and people will not tell men. Young men, I am discovering, have two options anymore in where to get information. They either get information from the red pill community, which are only 50% right, and they twist that 50% into a narrative that makes them money and makes you angry. And the second place you get information is from, unfortunately, and please don't shoot the messenger because I'm not talking crap. I'm not. I swear I'm not talking crap. This is just a valid truth. You're getting advice from women, your auntie, your mom, your grandma, your meemaw. You're not getting advice from actual men because most men, real men, have gone into hiding. And we as men have gone into hiding because the world changed so quickly. And this is one of the truths nobody gets to hear, is we went into hiding because the world changed so quickly and flipped its head around where being a man is now a negative thing. It's called toxic masculinity. Just being a man. And what I mean by being a man is doing the normal protective things that is instinctual in most of us when we grew up in the 80s or 90s. And prior to that. So how I was grown up and how I was raised was you open doors for everybody. You know, if you're going into a 7-Eleven and you got a line of people behind you, men, women, grandmas, grandpas, elderly, young, you open the door for them. You hold the door for them. That's not called chivalry. That's called being a man. It's called being polite. And anymore, there's a lot of folks out there that have taken that concept and have trashed it like it's something that is from the nuclear family age, that it's part of the patriarchy. And I'm not kidding you. If you go look at a lot of these TikTok videos, a lot of these YouTube videos, it's just nothing but people complaining about men, right? So what was the natural instinct for real men to do? Go and hide. Be single. Bury ourselves maybe into a different country. There's a lot of my friends, or I shouldn't say friends, there's a lot of acquaintances that I've met over the years that have given up on the United States and Western culture and have gone to live in Japan, China, Taiwan, Colombia, Brazil, parts of Africa, even Australia. They said Australia is way less like manipulated about how bad men are. So the brutal truth is the red pill community is wrong about a lot of things. And one of the things that they're wrong about is that a woman's body count matters. Now that's going to be very, very controversial amongst a lot of people. What do you mean? So you're telling me a woman can have 1,000 body count and she can still have a good man? Yes. Because most of the time, and again, this is an over-exaggeration, but most of the time when we are young, even when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, hey Leroy, man, when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, we just didn't talk about our body count. We didn't talk about and like openly talk about sex. We didn't. We still were kind of closed off. We would talk about amongst friends, but we didn't go on AOL.com and Instant Messenger on AOL and go, hey man, like I slept with 19 women in 3 days. Hey man, I like had a train ran on me by a bunch of dudes, yesterday. That's more of a modern, like Facebook, Snapchat, let me grab attention type of stuff. Back in the day, we kind of kept that stuff kind of private. Like we mostly talk about our long-term relationships. We didn't talk about our one-night stands. So can people actually like really find love with high body counts? Can they find someone that's their match with high body counts? Yes. Does it matter what your profession is? No. But if you close yourself off, this is where the red pill community is half right. If you close yourself off as a man and say, I'm not going to date anybody that's a nurse because nurses cheat. I'm not going to date anybody that's works in the airlines on airplanes because they cheat. If that's the mindset we're going to set as men, we're going to close ourselves off to people. Now, that's our choice, and we have to live with that choice. Hi, everybody. But the reality is, if we keep ourselves opened up and just get to meet people and get to know people for who they are and what they bring to the table, as far as their personality, as far as their experiences, as far as motivation. I've had people that come in I've had great women that have come into my life from the adult entertainment industry that were platonic friends, never dated them, nothing else. But they gave me motivations behind things. Like, I'll give you an example. There's one gal, and I'll always thank her. Haven't talked to her in a couple years, but I used to have conversations with her. She used to be a very popular adult entertainment, adult filmmaker. She was in the adult entertainment industry. And her and I used to have these conversations when I started my first YouTube channel and when I started my first kind of dive into social media marketing. She gave me the best advice I've ever gotten and gave me motivation to make sure that I take whatever I post on one platform and post it to every platform. Okay, so we have to, as men, we have to understand that everybody that comes into our life is not someone necessarily we're going to lay with. And if we close ourselves off because of somebody's profession, we might miss out on something that makes us improve, that might make us a better human being, a better person. It doesn't mean we're going to sleep around and lay with the person. So the reality is, as a young man, if I was in my 20s, I would be very open to who I'm talking to. And the other thing we really have to realize is, even back when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, when I was growing up, we went up and talked to people just to talk. We didn't go talk to people because, hey, you want to pull up on me? Hey, I'm going to pull up on you. Hey, let's Netflix and chill. I mean, we didn't go like for the kill. We went up and we talked to people. Sometimes we interacted and got phone numbers. Sometimes we got emails. Sometimes we never talked to them again. Sometimes we might have run into them at the grocery store. Hey, remember me? We met at the so-and-so bar, so-and-so restaurant. Oh yeah, how are you doing? Sometimes we met people that were married and happily married, and just being around them made us want to be married or made us want to have kids because we saw this positive energy around them. We lost our ability because we went into hiding as men. We went into hiding, and now all of a sudden the younger generation's lost because, holy crap, dad's checked out. So the reality is what we need to see needs to happen over the next 15, 20 years is we need to get more real men on the internet talking about our mental health and talking about how to deal with our mental health. We don't need Andrew Tate. Now, I don't have anything against Andrew Tate. I'm just telling you, we need less Andrew Tate and less feminists telling us how rotten we are. We need less Fresh and Fit podcast. We need less women screaming and yelling how men ain't shit. We need less of Brian's whatever podcast out of Santa Barbara. We need less of people who think they're all high and mighty religious wise telling us how immoral we are. We need to get back to where we used to be, which is normal, communicating to each other, having community. If I could give any young men advice, the best advice is expand your horizons and who you're talking to. Don't just try to let me slip in your DMs and try to get naked pictures of chicks. Let me get on my Fortnite thing and talk crap to everybody because I got nothing better to do. Expand your horizons. Get out there. Talk. Communicate. Create community. Rides shit. When I was growing up, it was riding BMX bikes and skateboarding. We still had Sega Genesis and PlayStation and Super Nintendo. We still had computer games like World of Warcraft. Yes, surprisingly, World of Warcraft was around when I was a teenager. We still have those things, but we need to, as men, need to figure out how to bring back community. If we can bring back community, then that leads me into the last thing I want to talk about on this live. And that is, we need to stop laying with random women. We need to stop doing it. I don't care if they're throwing themselves at you. I don't care if they're taking their panties and their bras off, taking naked pictures of themselves and sending them to you saying, come on over, baby. We need to stop laying with so many women. Like we complain about women laying with too many men, we need to stop laying with so many women. We need to actually get to know these women before we lay with them. We need to, lust is fine. We can lust after women, that's fine. But get to know them before you lust after them. Make it about their beauty and they're gorgeous and they're vibrant, but make it about their energy too. Because I'm telling you, if an accident happens and this woman gets pregnant that you laying with, she owns your ass for the rest of your life. Not 18 years, your whole life. Because she simply doesn't go away just because kid is an adult. Now, accidents happen. Crap happens. Okay? But if we're careful about who we lay with, if we're careful about what women we allow in our lives, or if we're gay and we're homosexual men, what men we allow in our lives, we need not to give them all that energy. As men, we need to protect our energy and protect ourselves. The Kid D, what's up, baby? Haven't seen you in a while. Sorry. Yo. Sorry, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. So, just be careful who you lay with, who you give that energy to. Keep that energy yourself. If you're worried about not being good in the bedroom because you don't have enough practice, let me tell you, when you find a woman that you actually get along with, that you have the right energy with, that's good looking in your eyes, that you're attracted to, and you've gotten to know them, you will be good for them inside that scenario. You will figure it out. Don't be in such a hurry to give out that energy. I'm telling you. And the more you sit back and observe, the better the women you're going to attract. You're not going to attract all the hood rats. You're going to attract good people. You're going to attract really good women. And there's a ton of great women out here. Tons of them. Some will be your friends. Some will be your lovers. Some will be maybe one will be your wife, the mother of your children. But until you connect that energy together and stop worrying and stop being Emmett from the Chi who lays with anything that walks, until you stop doing that, your life's going to be a living hell. So just let it be. Let your energy be yours and not somebody else's. Don't worry, guys, more to come. Don't worry about the Kid D. Your boy is back.